morning and welcome to our project management tip session. My name is Evelyn Ariel.
Also from my side, my name is Mona, and it's really fantastic that you took some time to join our first project management tip session with Michaela. It will be the first in a row. Before we dive into Michaela's training, just a short explanation for who we are and why we are doing this.
We are the dot in the middle of the connecting dot, a group of outstanding trainers, coaches, facilitators, and presenters. We offer individual and sustainable training development programs for teams, departments, or divisions.
We love interdisciplinary competencies, skills the World Economic Forum identified for being essential until the year 2025, not only for PMs, also in all other areas of work. Why do we find active learning and learning strategies directly behind analytical thinking and innovation? Or creativity, originality, and initiative, and leadership and social influencing between complex problem solving and technology use, monitoring and control. These so-called soft skills are no longer soft. They are key. Think about all the changes we had during the last months. Some of these changes will stay. We would onboard and should onboard these competences. Let's start together.
Yeah, have a look, for example, at project management. Projects are more and more interdisciplinary, and companies need to work more interdisciplinary. For example, look at Volkswagen. They slowly transform from a car company into a more software company because that's needed.
Yeah, great example, Evelyn. Back to us. We strongly believe that these business skills determine the success of a company. And our aim is to help our customers to find further development for their employees, and that is well thought out and targeted. Evelyn, coming back to the PM skills, let's take one step back and have a look at who is who in the project management zoo. A clear role and knowing what is expected defines your success.
Yeah, I fully agree. If we don't know what is expected, it's hard to act. All stakeholders need to know who does what within a project.
So, the saying, let's sneak into Michaela's training to see how she explains, for example, why am I on this project?
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, Michaela. Let's start. I'm curious.
Okay, so the question is who in the zoo? And let's take this as a metaphor for project management. So in a company or in a zoo, we have a director. And the director maybe is our customer, but let's see if this is really true. So this is the one who has the need for a project, who has a benefit of the project. And maybe he thinks of new visitors, or he wants to become, or he wants that his spot becomes the best zoo ever.
Mm-hmm.
So he represents the zoo. Imagine this little building is the metaphor for a metaphor for the zoo. And the zoo has a lot of departments. Do you agree?
Yeah.
And in the departments, we have a lot of people working for this specific departments. Okay, so this is our setting. This is where the project will take place. The organization is represented by so-called stakeholders. So stakeholders are owners of interfaces, of departments, of stuff like this. So maybe in this case, they represent meat, vegetables.
Okay.
And insects. And they should agree on the zoo of the future.
Yes. Great
So,
example.
is it? So you see, the director believes that his concept is the best concept ever to make this this zoo a great zoo. And he talks to all his department, region, or part leaders. Now, like a region or a department or a team or whatever. And each and every one of this gang represents a specific topic. In a project, they send their representatives to the project. So that means the best man or the best woman. They represent the interfaces. How to digest bones, the knowledge. How to make bacteria out of blood.
Yeah.
Interactions. How to make sure that the lion is the first one to eat. Yeah, and more. So they represent their department. And we also have these little things which are called boards. And here the representative people from special divisions are seated. And they talk about strategies. How to make our zoo famous. Value. How to make sure that what we deliver is worth doing it. Objectives. Maybe big ones. So in our case, with the connecting dot, it is 2050, and maybe it is the next fantastic event. So the representative, they plan so-called resources. Resources are specialists. Yeah, and so specialist means, are we talking about knives to cut the meat? Are we talking about chemical reactions or stuff like this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and we have a hidden agenda. We have representatives. So that means we need to make sure that someone speaks to the union,
yeah,
to the staff council, to the employees. So that means all the people. This is a hard word to write. to all the people who are not part of the project but part of the organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And need to be involved.
And need to be involved, and at least they would like to answer some questions.
Yes.
The vendors, you see, the outside world.
Yeah.
The contractors. So the vendors are the roads that deliver food to the zoo, and the contractors are let's say all the army of people cleaning and repairing and doing stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, this is an organization, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And it's a big one. So let's have a little look here. So the first question you should ask, how complex is your project? And therefore we have a formula. So N is the number of people in a gang.
Mm-hmm.
So on my picture, if I counted correctly, it is 13 people. One director, 3 stakeholders, it's 4, 3 core team members, yeah, it's 10, and so on. So let's work with 13. So that means if 13 people talk to each other, that means everyone talks to everyone, but no one talks to him or herself. Mm-hmm. And if they talk, they share a channel. And if we have these numbers, this gives us 156 combinations over 2, which is 78 channels in this game. If we make
78 people exchanges and communication
We
lines.
talk about needs, expectations, politics, bodies in the cellar, you know.
Yeah.
And you know this famous, in German we would say, a lot of cooks spoil the broth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's make it a little bit bigger, because a company doesn't have 13 people.
No.
Let's make it 130. So 130 means 130 talk to 129 over 2, which gives us 16,770 possibilities, which is 8,385 channels.
Yeah, it's a little bit more.
Yeah, so I stop it here, because if I put the next one on it, it is, we cannot handle it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see, we have this complex metaphor for a project. We have a customer, we have stakeholders, the political gang, we have the core team, which gives us the limitations, the stops, the constraints, the assumptions.
Yeah.
We have a board which isn't interested in the detail of the project, but in strategies, money, and stuff like this. We have the resources, people working in the project, and we have all the rest, the hidden rest. So, and now talk about who is in charge. If we have a project manager in this game,
Yeah.
let's ask, he is paid by, is he paid by the meat department? Then he thinks meat, and he ignores the insects.
Yeah.
Or he ignores the vegetarians. So is he paid for, or is he in charge of? So you can ask this question. So that means it's always political. And if he makes a decision for the meat department, then the insects will come and say, oh, you forgot about us. And then the whole game starts again. If we talk about a product owner, you see this is a modern term, and we have someone who is the owner, because a project manager isn't an owner, he's a manager or a leader or a coordinator or something like this. If we have a product owner, let's say PO here and PM here. So the funny question is he the PO of the cage? Think of the lion. Is he the owner of the cage and responsible that the lion is fed properly? Is he the owner of the meat? So you see the T-bone steak. So is this his job to make sure that the lion is fed properly? Or is he the owner of the enclosure? So that means the part where the lion is going for a walk, where he is living and sleeping and doing this, and the cage is where he stays overnight. So who is who? And now we have a project. You see, now we have this project in the zoo. And the director says, oh, I want to have a modern zoo. And my idea is that we have a new enclosure for a very fantastic animal. Yeah. And so they ask, and all the rest ask, okay, if we have a new animal, we may have a new stakeholder. If we have a new lion, we have a new meat eater. If we have, we have new whatever. And the question now is, who is in the lead?
Oh.
Is it the director who says, I believe in the future? Or is it the strong representative of the lion department, but they only eat the delicate parts? They don't eat the whole animal, they eat the delicate parts. Or is it the one from the meat department, from the hygienia area? They eat everything, but they need a little rotten parts. Or is it the venture, this big bird eating all the bones? Or is it the insects? And now imagine all of them agree on a project, whatever it is. And they agree on a project order, on a mandate or something like this. They brief the project manager, or they brief the product owner, and everybody says, chaka, that's it. And then from the deep, deep, deep of the ocean, the fish says, you forgot about us. And then the whole game starts over. Yeah, and so, and we talk about the project and talk and talk and talk, and everybody forgets about what is the real value, what is the real object, why are we doing this? Because nobody has the idea, oh, sorry, this is the wrong pencil. Nobody has the idea to make a snapshot. And snapshots for me are documents like a canvas or whatever. So a canvas is a piece of paper. You put some squares on it, you write your question, and then you write the answer. So in this point of the project, nobody makes snapshots. Everyone believes that his or her brain is the best brain ever, and that we are able to remember what we said 2 years ago. So my first tip is make sure that you make different snapshots. My second tip is make sure that you talk to the right people. Make sure that is it really for the meat department or is it for the insects? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Make sure that you are aware of the communication need in the project.
Oh, Michaela, this is so interesting. Thank you so much. And I think there is a lot of more tips you could give, and I'm sure you will give in your training that you're just preparing. Thanks for letting us in.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is great stuff, and I think there are a lot of people interested in. So how can we go on, and for what do we have to care? So, and I think this could be a next tip from your side, right?
Yes, why not?
Okay, so everybody can be curious when Michaela will do the next tip then. I guess not later than 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, and Michaela, she's one of our trainers and facilitators and presenters that we all have here together at the Connecting Dot. We all believe in a training like Michaela just did, very interactive, more funny, and having good, like this picture Michaela draw with the zoo. I really like that one. So if you have any questions afterwards, you can always send us an email, also to Michaela, send her an email. And is there now any questions? Do you have anything you want to share with us? Write in the chat, or you could also talk to us. Thanks, Michaela.
You're welcome.
Many, many thanks, and have a great day.